all of these transgender, laws and youth care have been, of course, like in the news cycle lately. And so, it must be taxing, to constantly hear this sort of stuff. And so I'm wondering, if you have any tips or ways that you kind of take care of yourself and your mental health amidst, this never-ending news cycle that's throwing all of this stuff out there all the time.
Yeah, I guess like for me, the default go-to is reading. Like I will just like start reading books. Um, like I don't know, for me, like if I'm really stressed about something, the easiest thing to do is to listen to music or read books and like play video games, right? And like play something mind-melting, like, Fortnite where I can just goof around, or like Minecraft where I can just goof around. Um, like, yeah, because it is taxing. It is taxing to be steeped in the news all the time. And I find myself usually at least once every 3 months, I have to take like a week off just for like my mental health, because being soaked in the news is so bad for you, especially right now, because I mean, the reality is with all these anti-trans laws, like as somebody who's like knows a thing or two about history, it's really, really scary because it's literally Nazi propaganda. Well, like what these right wingers are pushing right now, where they're like calling everybody that they don't like pedophiles, like that's literally Nazi propaganda. Like it literally, like if you look at the propaganda that was put forward in Nazi Germany, they were literally saying that there was this evil cabal of pedophiles stealing babies. Um, and like, and it like and one of the first people that they went after were trans people, were queer people. Um, I mean, literally, like the first trans woman to ever receive like bottom surgery, she was killed by the Nazis, and like the doctor's office that performed the surgery was raided by the Nazis, and like they destroyed like all of the records that they could find about like all of the queer folks that that doctor had been treating. And so this is something that happened 100 years ago, right? And so like it's really scary to look back at history and see the exact same rhetoric being used today, and some of the exact same things starting to happen legislatively in different states. Um, like it's just really scary. So yeah, you just have to step out of it. And for me, it's reading, right? It's reading. Now most of the reading I do is political anyway. But it occupies like a different space in my brain. It's like the intellectual space of my brain as opposed to the
Mm.
this is my life state of my brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and actually to that point, I like to give people reading lists. And so like what is on your reading list? Like what are some of the things that you're reading now, or what are some of the things that you would recommend to people?
Um, yeah, so let's see. Some of the more recent stuff that I read, like, okay, so right now, I think some of the most important books for anybody to read probably are No Shortcuts. I forget who it's by, but it's about labor organizing, the Jakarta Method, um, Black Shirts and Reds by Michael Parenti, and like, I mean, I'm refreshing myself right now because I'm maybe writing a book. I mean, I've
Oh,
started it. We'll see when and if I finish it. Um, which is sort of supposed to be like a modern reinterpretation of Lenin's imperialism and state and revolution, with some of the information from Black Shirts and Reds and the Jakarta method in it to like sort of synthesize it all. Um, but like those I think are some of like the big ones that I think are important for people to read um right now in this moment. But there's also like a lot of other really fun stuff like David Graeber, basically anything by him, Debt, The First 5,000 Years, The Utopia of Rules, Bullshit Jobs. All of these are like really, really amazing books that sort of talk about like the history behind where the United States is today and like the global economy, but in a way that like has a lot of really fun and interesting anecdotes, because David Graeber is an anthropologist. And I just really, really love the way anthropologists write about the world, because they always have fun stories to tie in to sort of reflect the larger material reality for societies as a whole.